Hello and welcome to my first and possibly only Sims video. We'll see how this goes. You know, you can never really tell with me or know, because sometimes I say that I'm gonna do a big old series about something and then I just do like one episode. So we'll see. Basically, I'm really into The Sims 4 now. Again, I'm super into it, but I also want to make an apology video to the Sims community because you guys are amazing and I've been harsh. I have been a meanie poo. I have judged you all a bit too much because holy fuck, there's just so much creativity there. But I can feel like the Sims can be a bit daunting to some, but also a bit boring to some too, if that makes sense. Like, when I think about playing it, sometimes I can be like, oh, that sounds like a fun idea, but that's gonna be a time steal and I'm not gonna get back those 10 hours of my life that I could have spent doing something productive. Even though I most likely wouldn't do anything productive, I would just sit on my ass, play another game, but whatever. And then it can also be boring if I don't have a particular story in mind. Like, I need to have a clear plan. Okay, sorry about the bus in the background. There's nothing I could do about them. Like, I wish I could tell everyone to just stop their lives while I record because this is more important than that, but they don't listen. I have tried. But yeah, if I don't have a particular story in mind that I want to explore with the sim, I don't feel like playing it at all. So what really brought me back to it was playing a certain meme family that I will go into later. But what you have to remember is that Sims is basically just an adult version of playing with dolls. And if you didn't grow up playing with dolls, one, I'm very sorry for you. Your childhood must have sucked, and if you're feeling bad about it, I'm here. I can give you a hug if that is what you need. But you can also know that it's never too late to start, okay? Just don't tell people they might judge you if you're an adult, okay? But since Sims is basically just an adult version of playing with dolls, I can really see the appeal for women and others that grew up doing that, because it's so similar to it that it's almost like weird that people aren't using that more as a selling point. Because it is a big appeal for people. We all want to get back to our childhoods in some ways, like the good parts at least. And Sims really it's like the thing I would have loved as a kid. I did play Sims as a kid though, but I still played with dolls. But I can also see that why that is, not appealing for someone that didn't grow up doing that. But then I can also see like why there's such a strong appeal for like women and why a lot of women are playing those games, because it's so similar to what we did growing up. Like when I used to play dolls with my sisters, we just had a bunch of like lady dolls and like one male doll, and that male doll, he was cheating on everyone, and that became a whole big thing and he went to jail many times. I also like that we considered cheating to be that severe offense that it was punishable by law. I think that the reason my sister and I thought that it was like that is because we watched like soap operas, because my mom was watching that. And in that one, every time someone cheats, they react the same way they would if someone murdered someone. Sometimes they react even harsher to that. Like, I've seen soap operas where, like, someone kidnaps someone who's lost their memory, and, like, then he gets it back, but she never goes to jail or anything. They are like, oh, okay, well, she's a bit insane, but that's our girl. Like, it's so weird. But if someone is cheating, they're like, I'm sorry, you're on the fucking blacklist forever. You're not coming back here, okay? And then they're back again 2 weeks later cheating on someone else. Whatever. And I also start to realize something now, that basically what we just played was some kind of like harem anime thing where it's just one dude and a bunch of girls, and like, holy fuck, did anime just rip off the idea from like little girls playing with dolls? They were like, okay, they seem to have a winning formula here. Like, holy fuck, is it our fault that harem animes got made? I hate that reality for us. But yeah, sorry, I'm going off tangent, but get used to that if I keep making these videos. My mind is all over the place. There is no fixed point I have just loose guidelines. But if you made this for like, maybe I should just make a disclaimer like this, jump to this part, that's where the video actually starts. If you did listen to all that rant, good, thank you, I appreciate that. But basically, how I'm gonna try to make this as simple as possible, and people will disagree with me like, but I wouldn't want to play, I don't play that way, blah 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 blah. But I'm gonna make it simple, so people that are not playing The Sims can see, oh, I see the appeal, I can do something like that. Basically, how I like to sort things out at first, if am I gonna make a meme family, or am I gonna make a normal family? A meme family is something I started doing when I started streaming The Sims. It wasn't something that I had really explored beforehand. Then I did the classic normal family, where one sort of normal family is adding yourself to the game, and maybe like one of your friends as a roommate, and then weird shit happens. I made one of my Twitch moderators into my roommate. We never did anything fucky. Don't get your minds twisted here. But I gave him a really hot boyfriend in IRL, and he's like straight, so. Well, like, I did send pictures of the boyfriends to him, and he was like, okay, well, yeah, I can see that happening. That's pretty nice. But yeah, I started just making myself, and I used to play that without mods or anything, no expansion packs, and I know I sound like an insane, deranged husk of a woman for admitting that I did enjoy The Sims, like just the base game without anything else, and I played it for like 100 hours. I know that is like the level of my insanity, but I'm not gonna go into mods quite yet. So first of all, meme family, normal family. Meme family can be the kind of stuff I do on stream sometimes, like we have the Serene family that is led by Madame Serene, who is a magician who also kills every big celebrity in her pool and puts their grave on her yard because she's the only one that is allowed to shine. Because they have that fake shine on them, and she's like, no, that's just for me, even though she isn't a celebrity. Whatever. That's the kind of shit she does. And then we have my scuffed Resident Evil family, led by Lady Dummy Shoe, who has the signature hat and style, and she and her family, she has 2 daughters and a son, and I know that canonically she has like 3 daughters, but I wanted to have like a little vampire bad boy, sue me. Actually don't, I wouldn't have any means to pay you. But they keep people in their basement as a live food source. They have them glamored. Maybe some people are there against their will, some people might think that they have chosen to be there and they're happily, because sometimes Lady Dummy Shoe goes down there and gives him a little kiss, Or you could do a meme family like Shremk and Donkley. Oh, I farted! Oh my god, that's such a Shrek thing to do! I farted, chat! I don't think I need to explain them anymore. Anyway, so it's like, it depends what you want to do, what kind of story you want to do. It doesn't have to be a normal family, it doesn't have to be your family, or just whatever. I have had a lot of fun with normal families nowadays that I play off stream. I have tried to stream them, but it's kind of boring for a reason that is gonna come up now. Then, when you've chosen the family, you can choose by just going full autonomy or min-max. And they both have like pros and cons, and I think that full autonomy is amazing for meme families, and probably what you should do for a meme family. Full autonomy is basically that you do not have to do anything. They just have to do everything themselves. It can be highly chaotic. For example, if you have a party around and you have a mischievous or evil sim, they can start fights with everyone at the party, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, I kind of wanted to be on the good side with them, whatever. But then you shouldn't have a mischievous evil sim anyway, if you just wanted everyone to love you. But there are also mods that can help with that. A good mod for that is like Slice of Life, have some personality please, whimsical whims, not to be confused with that other mod that we're not gonna talk about. But yeah, it's like full autonomy to me is so fun. I once made a family that was just, I made my viewers into Sims and I just put them all in a house, and it was so fun to see how people just interacted and stayed alive. It was amazing. I love full autonomy because the storylines are kind of writing themselves without you're just there like watching them. They're playing the game for you. You can just be this weird observer in the sky, and it's kind of like an empowering kind of fun feeling because you have no control over what's happening. But if you want to take control, you can do it immediately, but that kind of breaks the immersion for me.
I am not allowed to do anything. Is anyone calling? Is anyone?
Like, I try to do minimal inputs at least, and when I say inputs, I mean that I try to help the game in a very minimal way. If I want a party to happen, they usually don't like call people to come over by themselves. So if I want a party to happen, I have to, manually have them plan an event. But I try to just keep it at that. Just make sure that what I do leads the story forward, but maybe not in the way I would want it to, if that makes sense. Like, it isn't my will. I can create situations, but it's a Sim's responsibility to make sure something happens from it. Then we also have min-maxing, which is great if you have a specific goal in mind. Like, for example, maybe you want to have a sim reach the top of the fucking science profession or something. If you want to experience that kind of gameplay, or if you have a sim that you feel like should maybe have a bunch of kids, maybe you should get that to happen. So min-maxing is not super fun to watch, which is why I min-max basically my normal families. I do very little autonomy. If I have a family that has a bunch of toddlers and kids and teens having to go to school, or people having to advance in work, they all have homework, they all have stuff they need to do before they work, they have skills they need to practice, you have to min-max like their needs so they don't go to work when they are starving. Like, you have to make sure that everyone gets up at a certain time. But once you get into the swing of things, you can kind of have the game move on kind of quickly, and then you miss a lot of the fun little moments that you can get from a full autonomy playthrough. So there's a bit of like hit or miss. You can also, of course, do a mix of this. Then, an important part. Cheating versus not cheating. And this is something that I think that when you hear it the first time, like, cheating in Sims is iconic. We all know about the money cheat, like Rosebud or whatever. Motherload also. I think that people that has never played The Sims knows that you can cheat money. That's just something that you can do. But if you do a normal family, I would try to keep cheating as minimal as possible. Especially when it comes to the money, because that can be a fun struggle, even though money can be really trivialized if you use exploits in games that aren't even exploits. Like, for example, woodworking can give you an enormous amount of money early game. It's insane. I think when I did my normal family now the last time, the way they afforded the first house wasn't through work, it was just the man of the family. He kept making, I don't know, I think it was tables or some shit. He just kept making these tables and selling them for so much. It was insane. But basically, money sheets work really, really well if you have a certain build that you want to do. Like my meme family with Madame Serene, like, in my mind, she is this fabulously wealthy lady who is a complete narcissist, but that doesn't matter. So I actually had a house in mind before I made her. So I had to use a money sheet just so I can just buy a lot of extravagant things and make her a huge house, because the money wouldn't be part of the fun for me. It would have just made it take longer for me to enjoy the game. So if you want to get into The Sims because of the building aspect, which you totally can, building in Sims 4 is actually amazing and it's really fun to experiment with. then do that. Get a money sheet and just build to your heart's content. There are also actually some build-related sheets. One, there are sheets to make sure that you can get access to every item in the game. You can completely bypass some items' requirements of having a certain job, for example. There are actually a really good build sheet that makes it so that you can put objects on top of each other, which makes landscaping so much prettier and easier. I love landscaping in Sims 4. It can make a garden look amazing. Like, for example, for my build for Shremk and Donkley, like their house wouldn't and garden wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't used this sheet. This sheet doesn't make you richer or anything, but it can make your gameplay experience richer. Because you can have, like, maybe really into gardens, maybe you want to experiment with that. Have fun, sheet on. And all of these sheets are super easy to find. If you want to find a, like, move objects sheet, just Google it and you will find it. Like, it's that easy. That's how popular the sheets are. And you can also, for example, sheet skills. And here's something that, well, maybe not people are super into if you're into normal family. But this could work in meme family, but also in a normal family. Because not every sim that you create is gonna be like this empty shell that has never done anything in their entire lives. If you have a story for a master vampire, it might not make sense that he knows nothing of vampire lore. Max that skill. Maybe he has spent 100 years playing piano. Max that piano skill. Maybe he has been rubbish at cooking because he is, he just eats blood. Well, don't max cooking. Like, you don't have to max all of them, because it can be fun to have Sims just level skills that they find out that they enjoy, like flower arranging, athletics, whatever. But you can, increase skills for the Sims if it makes sense. Like my Nicolas Cage character has max comedy and mischief, for example, because to me it made sense that he would have max comedy and mischief. Who knows why, but that's for him. And Madame Serene, who I think is like a musical virtuoso, I had her max piano because, holy fuck, if you haven't heard beginning violin or piano in this game, it's just soul crushing and immersion breaking to think that your character is this great musician, but then when you hear in game what they actually are playing when they're practicing, that's just gonna ruin the immersion. So in some ways, actually cheating skills is very important. You can also cheat relationships. If you do not like interacting using the same flirt thing all the time on a sim just to make them, like each other, you can cheat how much they like each other. There are also added sentiments in the game that I'm pretty sure that you can cheat. So if you want someone to adore you, you can already cheat for that. And like, as long as it makes sense and don't remove the fun from you, because that's what you have to realize, that you're playing for you. Do shit that's enjoyable to you. If you do not enjoy to play a family that has unlimited money, don't use the money sheet. If you don't enjoy playing a family where everyone has no skills when they should have, just add some skills. Like, that's the thing that matters. You're doing this because you're gonna play a game that you enjoy, yeah? And sometimes it can take time to find what you enjoy. The Sims 4 is like a huge, huge game, and especially when you add expansion packs and stuff into the equation, it becomes huge. But as I said earlier, I enjoyed playing the unmodded version that was just the base game for a very long time. But then when I started streaming, I started to like other kind of families. And then I started liking normal families. And then I went back to meme families. Like, just explore and find out what you want. And don't be afraid of doing that, because The Sims is a very creative game. But the limits are your own creativity, kinda. If you don't have fun making up stories or letting the game show you a story, then you're probably not gonna enjoy it either, however you play, because it is a story game, even though it's a sandbox story game. Like, there's been so many times that I have had plans for a sim, but the game has just said no, but it makes it so much more enjoyable. Like, Derek, the genius son of my normal family that I recently made, he was family oriented, so I was thinking, oh, he's gonna go to university, he's gonna get a great job, he's gonna get a wife, and then they can have some kids, and they can inherit the big house. What happened instead was that his mom died right in front of him, and the maid was standing there, so they went up and, did the dirties in his mom's bed because he was sad, I guess. And then a couple of days later, there's a call, and she's like, hey, by the way, I had a kid. So he took charge of that kid, of course, because he's family oriented, and I didn't think it made sense if he was gonna abandon his child. He then later got abducted by aliens and pregnant. Apparently that's a thing that can happen in the Sims. I thought it was just a meme, but apparently a male Sim can become pregnant. So then he had a second child. He's still not married, but he has 2 kids. And he kind of got to become family oriented anyway. So it can be really fun when the game writes its own story. Even though it's different than what I had in mind, I can still roll with it. I can still find it very enjoyable. And I think that is where I'm gonna end this. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm pretty sure I probably missed talking about a couple of things, and I apologize for that, but this is my first Sims video. I have a couple of others in mind where I'm gonna talk about expansions, packs, mods, and other enjoyable things. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.